A new stealth model just launched and it's called Code Supernova. You can use it completely for free for a limited time on Cursor, Windsurf, OpenRouter, and a lot of other AI coding IDEs and providers. Today I'm going to check it out, but before we get started, a lot of people say it's Claude 4.5 Sonnet. Other people say it could potentially be a model from Grok and XAI. Nobody really knows. However, what we know is that it supports image inputs and 200k context window. And this is an agentic coding model. I'm going to put it to a test day, but for the first time ever, I'm going to be using it on something that I actually build. A lot of people show you models, 1 shot performance, 0 shot performance, just like I do. But let me know down below in the comments, this is very crucial, if you want me to show it to you in a real world example, where you build on top of what you have already built, such as an open source application like I am creating. So let me know if you like this approach and I will give it a try. So I started using this model inside Cursor. Sadly, you can only use it with Ask mode because this is a custom model. So it's not fully supported for the agentic workflows, at least on my end. And the first thing I did is load my codebase here, which is a Next.js application. And I asked it to give me instructions on how to run it and set it up. And it gave them correctly. And now I have a running application. So the application that we're making today is this open source application that has chat, image, video, and audio. Now, I'm not going to be using it to do anything insane. It's going to be front-end code editing, but I think this is a very more realistic example than trying to create a simple game or zero-shot website. So today I will start by implementing this chat feature. So if I click chat, we can see that I have like a placeholder here, and I'm going to ask the model to try and create this from an actual image. So the image I will be using is this one. Let me show it to you. So this is the image, the number 1 image. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this image. I'm going to put it inside Cursor, okay? And then the second thing I'm going to do is put the first image here, just another type of screenshot that shows the chat interface. All of these images were created using Google Stitch, which I highly suggest that you use for free designs of your websites or front-end applications. They look super clean. The output is really production quality. So we're going to use these 2 images to create this chat page. So the chat page is this one, and I'm going to ask the model to create a functional chat interface. Create a functional chat page using the 2 images attached. One shows the history, tab opened, while the other the chat workflow. Make sure to make reusable components. So let's get started. We gave it 2 images and we tell it to implement this chat page, this chat interface. And I really want to see how this model performs on that end. We can see that the model is quite agentic. It's reading files right now using Cursor. I use it inside Cursor and it's planning its steps. I would really love to see what the model is thinking about. However, I cannot actually see it here. Maybe it's something that I have to open up on Claude on Cursor, but it's fine. So I'm going to let the model run. You can see it reads a lot of files and it starts to spit out the code. The model seems quite fast, so I really don't know if this could be actually a Claude 4.5 Sonnet. It could be actually, but let's see what the final result will be. And I really hope that this model actually performs well. Let me know if you have tried it out. I'm really interested in knowing your own, experience with this model. But it's very simple to use. When you open up Cursor, you go to Ask mode and you select Supernova. You are going to see it here on models. So it's that easy to use. And the model is already completed the request. Again, 200k context window, we just used 12% of that. So it gave us all of the things we have to do and we have to use. However, what I don't like is that it's very general. It doesn't show us what kind of components each one of these is. Let me know where to place each code and with what file name. Okay, so In the ask mode, it's very hard to use this model because it has to give us a little bit of a structure, which it has not done already. So, okay, let's see. The first is the types.as. I'm not going to waste your time in terms of copying and pasting the code. I'm just going to stop to the result, but indeed the model seems to give us the paths correctly. Okay, so the model is finished. I asked it to give me again all of the code in a format that I can copy. And let's see the final generation and how well it performed. So indeed it was able to create a workable chat interface that looks nice. If I write a question mark here, will I be able to use it? Nope, for some reason. A lot of other stuff are not really working. So let's see, question mark, yes. Here's a comprehensive answer based on the available information, 3 dots. And we can see that it actually is working and is functional. I really think it looks very nice. And if we see the emojis, yep, it's very close. Again, it's not super perfect. We can also probably, it would be nice if those things were clickable. And you have then settings, profile, and yeah. Okay, so on chat, you got this. And yeah, the workflow works. The model seems to be doing a good job. So now I'm going to create this image generation tab. So I'm going to open up a new chat interface. I'm going to go with ask mode again, and I'm going to close all of these. And we're going to ask it to do our image generation interface, which is this exact interface. So let's copy this, create this UI for our page. Okay, so we're going to go with an even simpler request. So I'm just going to tell it, create this UI for our page. Like, I'm not going to give it any explanation. I'm giving it no context. I really want to see how, Cursor can go ahead and find the correct files to use. Already it seems to be working pretty nicely. Like, the first request was good enough. Of course, we could improve it even further on, but this is a little bit outside the scope of today's video. I just want to see if this model is able to create functional components, especially from images. Making its own components, it's fine, like it's okay, but making components on top of already pre-made components in a huge, not huge, but in a good sized code base, I think that's very important and very nice. And let's see the final response. Okay, so this response ended up with this kind of issue, which is interesting. And with a refresh, it actually works. And you could write your prompt here, click generate, then you have these buttons here, and you have this history tab over here. So I would say that this doesn't look bad. However, it doesn't look good at all. There are so many things to desire to be improved. Make the history span the full height of the container. Okay, so we're going to give it a screenshot of the history tab so it's able to understand what we want it to do. I'm going also to ask it to do 2 more things, like select style should be a lot better, created, make it more beautiful. Select style is not looking great, please improve it. And I will give it this image as a reference so it knows how to improve the look. Attach the 2 results of the code you written and provide the image of what I would like the response to be. So let's see if this model can actually work and do multi-edit of code using, first of all, screenshots of the code it has written, but also a screenshot of the code I want it to reference. But already I think the model is doing a good job. I'm not disappointed at all with it. I think it's very good. At least for basic stuff, it looks fine. It looks like a very capable model. If the model is also able to improve on its own answer with extra work from our side, meaning talking with a model again, well, that would be very nice. So let's copy the code here. Let's paste it on the image generator to see what happens. And let's hit the refresh button. And I already can see that indeed it was able to improve the style here, which you don't see. Let me show you now. You see the style here? It's a lot better now. Okay, but it's not tracking the state, which I wanted to do. And I want also the history was improved. That looks nice. Now I'm going to take a screenshot here and I'm going to ask it to make these containers bigger. Make these containers bigger. Use online images for testing purposes. So let's see if this model is able to do another edit and improve that container. And this is how you want to be working with AI right now. You want to do one task, maybe two tasks if they are simple, per step. You don't want to overwhelm the AI with multiple things. So let's see what we are going to be able to do. So the first thing is, replacing this, card component. Okay, so let's copy that. And we want to replace the card content. I really hate that I have to do it manually, but okay, it's fine. And this is the generated images from online repositories. So we're also going to replace these placeholder data to see the final response. Let's give it a try. Hopefully this is going to work. I really like that it has no errors whatsoever. And boom, we get some nice previews here. So that's very, very helpful. That's very helpful. So, okay, that's good. That's good. Let's make this whole thing a little bit more, workable. Or maybe, you know what? Let's not stress about making everything interactive. This is not very important. What I would like to see is it improving the icons, I would say. Like, improve the icons of the page. Like, these icons are good. I mean, they don't really have to be improved. I'm going to just open up a new chat and I'm going to ask it to do something very simple. Improve the image interactivity and the graphic and the UI look of the image generation page. That's what I wanted to do. I want to let it free to improve my page and the interactivity. Let's see if this model has some actual perception of what is missing. Let's see if this model is artistic. Let's see if this model is able to act as a great UI UX designer. Let's just give it, free for all. Just go and do what you think would improve this website. If it's able to do it, I would think that would be pretty amazing. And you already see in just 15 minutes of using a completely new launched model, not even optimally created for Cursor, how much things we were able to do and how beautiful UIs we were able to create. Being functional, of course, there's a lot more to be desired, but what we've done in just 10 minutes was at least 2 days of work in companies. Okay, so that's pretty major. And oh my God, the model is really pushing the code. It's doing arguably a little bit too much. Like, what the fuck is this code base? Look at all of this thing. This is quite huge. Oh my God. What is all of this thing? There's no way this runs without issues. So key improvements, better state management. That's good. Improved user experience with load states, interactive tooltips, preview model manipulation image actions, UI enhancements. Oh my God, it really went ahead and did a lot of things. Maybe you need to let this model do its job. But let's see the final response, because I'm quite sure that this model has installed libraries that I don't actually have and it's going to crash everything. But let's see. Okay, let's hit the refresh, save. How is this possible? It seems to be working fine. And okay, it added some extra effects on the hover over. This button is working right now, which is nice. You can see it, the select style is working. This is deactivated before the prompt and it has a generation progress that adds some placeholders. I really like this. This is actually a lot better than before. Okay, that's nice. And okay, these buttons are not working here, but it adds like a style of what the image was when it was generated. All in all, I would say that this model actually did some very nice and meaningful improvements. It has a refresh button here, a share and download, which is not clickable at this moment. But okay, it already done a step to improve this page. I would say that the response are pretty nice. So, you know what? Maybe we should do this for this chat interface as well. So I'm going to say exactly the same thing using, of course, a new chat. Always when you switch task, always try to open up a new chat when you use this kind of coding IDEs. So it makes sure that it opens up a new page and it cleans up the context. You want to help the AI model have the best context possible instead of having it completely mess around everything. I think I actually done a very specific mistake, which was not actually give it the right context. So this model is arguably probably right now looking at my image generation code instead of looking at my chat mode. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually working exactly as it's supposed to work. And we already can see it's spinning up code. Okay, so I'm going to do the changes and I will come back to you. Stay around. Okay, so it actually gave us the response. However, we got an issue. So I got to tell the model that we got this issue, which is undefined reference. So this is a very simple error to solve for any kind of model, just so you know. It's very, very simple and very, very easy. So we would have to add these into our chat input when we load in everything. So let's copy this and it shows us what to replace. So let's hit the refresh button. And this is our new chat interface. Okay, it's completely obvious that this model is probably not Anthropic's and that this model is probably Google. This style of coloring is so Googlish, but it could potentially also be OpenAI. I really don't know. But already we can see here that the UI looks a lot better and arguably a lot closer to what we would expect. Let's write a question mark and we can already see that it is completely improved. This looks a lot better, guys. This looks a lot better. Oh my God. But we see 3 errors. So this is a very typical error that happens on Next.js. And it's pretty much the same error everywhere. So I'm going to give this model this error. And I want to see if this model is able to solve this error. Of course, this model makes errors. It's not perfect. But I gotta say that I'm very excited to see who has created this model because it seems very good. I think it looks very, very nice. I think it looks very, very good. Very capable, especially reimagining the design of our UI. So I really want to see. I really want to see the final response. And yeah, the model completely hallucinates its responses. Every response the model has gave me on this request completely fucked up the whole repository. Like everything that the model gave me on this, turn was completely wrong, which is, I gotta say, pretty interesting. I expected something a little better from the model, but yeah, it is what it is. Like the model made a lot of mistakes in this turn. Like it completely messed up even the most basic of, JS code. So I don't think this model is like the best model out there. I think it's quite capable, but for sure, it's not the best model out there. Like for sure. However, I gotta say that it did a very good job with the information it had and on the mode it was running. I think it's going to be like a mini coding model, judging also by its speed. It's arguably probably Claude 4.5 Sonnet, which will give us the quality of Claude Opus 4.1, but at lower cost. Maybe they will be pushing for $5, maybe for $10. I don't know. Let me know what you think about this model. This is my opinion. It's a very good and capable model, but it's arguably not as good as Codex and Claude 4.1 Opus.